Hello, my dear friends. I'm Dr. Waseem I Khan, Assistant Professor, Sri Shivaji Law College, Parbhani, Maharashtra, India. So today's point of discussion will be the second part of Tort of Defamation, which dealt with the essentials of defamation. So we will discuss the essential along with the case laws. So let's start the topic. Essentials of Tort of Defamation we will discuss in today's lecture. In the previous lecture, we have discussed the introduction, definition, and types of defamation. We have discussed there are two types of defamation, libel and slander. Libel is a statement which is in permanent form, which is in written form, and slander is a statement which is in non-permanent form. This is a verbal form. So if any person made a defamatory statement against any person, then the suit may be filed against the defendant and compensation may be recovered. So in today's lecture, we will discuss the essentials of defamation. So if a plaintiff wants to file a suit against any person for the tort of defamation, he must prove a certain essential. If he proves the essential of defamation, then only he will get a compensation, otherwise not. So we will discuss one by one all the essentials of defamation. The first essential of defamation is the statement must be defamatory. So whenever the plaintiff wants to get a compensation for the tort of defamation, he must prove the first essential, that whatever the statement published by the defendant, that statement is a defamatory one. If the statement is not a defamatory, plaintiff will not be entitled to get a compensation. He must prove that the statement is defamatory. That statement is sufficient to defame the plaintiff. If the statement is not defamatory, there is no question of defamation. Suppose if I called A as thief, so this is a defamatory statement, because by the publication of my statement, the reputation of A may get lower in the society. So the statement must be defamatory one. If the statement is defamatory, then only plaintiff will get a compensation. So he has to prove that whatever the statement published by the defendant is a defamatory one. Noor Muhammad versus Muhammad Ziauddin. In this case, bridegroom and his father refused to take the bride after marriage with them before a number of guests. So in this case, the conduct of bridegroom and his father was defamatory. They failed to take the bride after marriage, and at that particular time there were a number of guests, and before the guest they failed to take the bride with them. So the conduct of the bridegroom and father was a defamatory, and the suit has been filed by the plaintiff against the defendant, and in this case the court says that the conduct of the bridegroom and his father was defamatory, and that's why they are liable for defamation. Second essential of defamation is the statement must refer to the plaintiff. Only defamatory statement is not sufficient for getting a compensation. Plaintiff must prove the second essential, that the statement must refer to the plaintiff. Now it will be the responsibility of the plaintiff that the plaintiff has to prove the statement published by the defendant is a defamatory one, and that statement refers to me. Plaintiff has to prove whatever the statement published by the defendant, that statement refers to me. Until and unless the statement refers to plaintiff, plaintiff will not be entitled to get compensation. So he must prove that the statement published by the defendant refers to him only. So this is the second essential. Now we can say that the statement refers to plaintiff by way, if the name and address of the plaintiff mentioned in the statement itself, then we can prove that the statement refers to plaintiff. If the name and address of the person isn't mentioned in the statement itself, then by proving that fact, we can prove that the statement is referring to plaintiff. Second one is without name, but the name of group is there. If in that particular statement no specific name is mentioned, but the group is mentioned. For example, the lawyer of a particular city are fraud. It means we are in that particular statement, no specific name is there, but the group of people is there, group of lawyer is there, lawyer of a particular city is fraud. Under such a circumstances, that statement is referring to a group of people, and any person belonging to that group can file a suit and he can prove that that particular statement refers to me. So the statement must refer to the plaintiff, referring to one but defaming another. Suppose A calls B an illegitimate son. So in this particular statement, A is calling B an illegitimate son. No doubt it is a defamatory statement, but this statement refers to B, but defaming to someone else, defaming to mother of B also. So under such a circumstances, the mother of B also entitled to file a suit for the tort of defamation, because this statement also refers to mother of B. If B is an illegitimate son, then definitely B's mother will also be the mother of an illegitimate son, and that's why this statement refers to the mother of B also. So referring to one but defaming another. Defamation of dead person. If by publication of a statement, if any statement is referring to a person who is dead but defaming any person who is alive, then the person who is alive will be entitled to file a suit and he will be entitled to get a compensation because it refers to that particular person. Third essential now, the statement must be published. The statement must be defamatory and it must refer to the plaintiff. These two essentials are not sufficient for the plaintiff to get a compensation until and unless that defamatory statement which refers to the plaintiff is published. Plaintiff will not get a compensation. If the defamatory statement is not published, no doubt the statement is defamatory, no doubt the statement is referring to the plaintiff, but that statement is not published, plaintiff will not get a compensation. So publication of defamatory statement must be there, then only he will get a compensation, otherwise not. So instances of publication, there are certain instances of publication. Letter addressed to plaintiff. Any letter which is addressed to the plaintiff amounts to a publication. Official letter opened by the clerk. Suppose if any official letter sent to any person, then official letter is generally opened by the clerk. And if that defamatory statement, letter containing the defamatory statement is opened by the clerk, it amounts to a publication. Then a statement dictated to a stenotypist. Suppose if I am dictating a defamatory statement to a stenotypist, it amounts to a publication. Then the letter sent through RPAD is no publication. If I send a defamatory letter to someone else through registered post, it doesn't amount to a publication, because registered post will be opened by the person whose name is, whose address is mentioned on the letter itself. That's why it is not a publication. Then exception is husband and wife. Suppose if the husband is making a defamatory statement relating to someone else to his wife, it doesn't amount to a publication. Uttering of libel by a husband to his wife is no publication. Suppose if I am publishing a statement, if I am making a statement to my wife that A is a thief, I am speaking about A to my wife that he is a thief, it doesn't amount to a publication, because in the eye of law, husband and wife is treated as one. That's why if I made a statement to my wife relating to someone else, it is not a publication. Sending a defamatory letter to a wife about her husband is a sufficient publication. But suppose if someone has sent a defamatory statement relating to me to my wife, it amounts to a publication. Someone sent a defamatory statement about me to my wife, it amounts to a publication. There is a difference between these two. When a husband, however, is talking a scandal to his wife and negligently allows it to be overheard by a third party. Suppose if I am talking about someone else, I am mentioning a defamatory statement to my wife relating to someone else, And if that particular statement is overheard by someone, it amounts to a publication. It amounts to a publication because some third person has come to know about the defamatory statement, and that's why it is a publication. So there are three essential. The statement must be defamatory, it must refer to the plaintiff, and it must be published. The statement must be published. If the statement is not published, plaintiff will not get a compensation. So these are the three essential which we have discussed. If the plaintiff wants to get a compensation, he has to prove these three essential, then only he will get a compensation, otherwise not. I hope you understand this topic. If you understand this topic, please subscribe my channel, hit the notification button, hit the like button, and share this video with your friends. Thank you very much.